been waiting for the next run. Who doesn't love that time? Let me send you to Elevator Action Returns by the opponent. Take it away.
Hi, I'm Gong Xian, also known as the opponent online. And for my Games Done Quick debut, I'm running the 1995 arcade game Elevator Action Returns by Taito. This is a port to the Sega Saturn released in Japan in 1997. It is a sequel to the 1981 arcade game Elevator Action, and while it has some superficial similarities to it, it's quite different in gameplay and style. So let's begin here. And the first difference is that there are 3 playable characters. They're all very different from one another, and I'm selecting 80 Burret. The run will begin in 3, 2, 1. Let's begin. Like the original Elevator Action, the objective is to enter all of the red doors in these enemy strongholds and escape to the exit at usually the bottom of the structure unharmed. There's some short load times with each stage, but all the better to get you ready for the action. Just like the original game, you'll begin at the top of this high rise and onward and downward. You can also destroy the lights, which increases your opportunities to score, but not quite relevant for speed. And here I take my first damage boost to allow me to go down 1 story sooner than I normally would otherwise be allowed. You would normally die immediately if you fall 1 story, but if you're in iframes after taking damage, you can take that fall without any further harm. And an unexpected development, there is public enemy number 1, known only as Red Suit. We'll learn more about his motivations later on. So I'm jumping here as often as I can because it is very slightly faster than running, which gives me a greater chance to defeat the 3-second cycles and all of the movement. We'll simply skip over all of these preludes. They simply give a map of the area. And in the original game, these red doors contained classified information. This first stage also did, but that information is the location of nuclear bombs planted all across the city. And from this point forward, the red doors will contain these bombs, and it is on us to defuse them. Throw a bomb here, and although Edie does not have the highest speed stat of the 3 playable characters, her weapons give her the ability to defeat enemies the fastest of all 3 of them, which makes her ideal for speed running. And I take 2 hops there, as those armed drones will only find targets if you are on the ground when they touch down. So if you are not on the ground, they will find no targets and simply leave you be. Now, Stage 2 introduces the concept of aerial combat, which was not an element of the original game. And so I'm trying to defeat these jetpack men as soon as possible before they touch down, or they take 1 hit in the air but 2 on the ground. Their movement is completely random, so I am at the mercy of RNG. Yeah, it should be the last wave. Oh, there's 1 more there. He can take his time, we're not in any hurry. 3 hops here, and we'll enter Darius Airlines. Position ourselves at the exit row and simply mash away. Elevator Action, the original game, was very heavily inspired by 1960s spy movies, and this game, released in the mid-90s, is very much a pastiche of action movies. And to accommodate that, the action is much faster paced. Trick shot. So, on the surface, this is considered a run and gun game, but it's quite a tactical one in that you cannot move and shoot at the same time. You must therefore be much more meticulous in your movement, deciding when to move, when to shoot, and how often. And I took another damage boost there, where earlier I said you could fall down 1 floor and survive if you're in invincibility period, but You can actually fall a maximum of 1.99 floors, so long as you're 1 pixel above what would be the floor of 2 stories below. You will survive, but only during invincibility. And that's the end of stage 2. Red suit above his personal zeppelin spreading his message of anarchy. And we must put a stop to that. Okay, going along just fine. Shout out to the destroyer from jail. Click the entrance there. No one around to see it, but stage 3, now I must use a method that I call elevator manipulation. Elevators will only move up and down to the portions of their shafts that are visible on screen. So I must now control the screen scroll very carefully to ensure the elevators only move the directions I want them to at the times I want them to. You can see there the elevator only moved downward, though it was capable of moving upward, because that was the only valid direction at the time it started moving. Still a bomb there, so that man does not know what hit him. Take care of these jacket men, for they do a great amount of damage if they get a shot in. Double tap here in case there are 2 men up there and you didn't notice it. Take a moment to consider what this building even is. It looks like some kind of shopping complex, but the rest of the building here is unfinished. I take the machine gun here the only time I choose to, simply for safety. These men in the jetpacks do not wait very long before they take pot shots at you, while you have nowhere to hide in that elevator that moves automatically. Which is here. Occasionally those boxes contained bombs, and they did not this time. And we just have to very carefully negotiate this maze, and we're going to take the short way. If we can make this jump, and this jump, and okay. Very important you learn to manipulate the elevators if you're running for speed, because this stage only moves upward after the first segment. Take away these as well. And hope these random item containers contain life items, and they don't. Oh, I missed that. I have very little time here. See if I can make this elevator, and I cannot. I missed this cycle. Only because the enemies moved elevators at the times I did not want them to. What I did there was an elevator jam, where I move an elevator and jump off of it at the same time, which allows me to control its cycles even closer. I didn't need to jump there. Okay. Remember what Bob Ross always said? We don't make mistakes. Now, I was hoping that item container would contain life, and it did not, so we just need to take extra caution here and open fire when the 5th man exits the Apache. And to eliminate these enemies as quickly as possible, I'll simply flood this area with as much fire as I can. I need to destroy that amount before the boss of this stage appears. This is stage 3 of 6. Only now will we see a boss. Took another hit. And another point to mention is that action returns grants you only 2 lives, with no opportunity to gain more. There are no life items, and there are no 1-ups to gain from score. So we just need to take these red men out best we can. And I had this category listed as 1CC, which stands for 1 credit clear, to simply complete this game without continuing, and that means doing it with only 2 lives. I have done it under more harrowing conditions. Let's see if I can repeat that. Now, this stage represents a baffling violation of internal logic. I fall down 5 stories and I'm completely unharmed. I was so distracted by that baffling decision that I took damage there I didn't need to. We'll let that barrel dispatch that man for us. And don't tell anybody, but while the debriefing for this mission calls this the underground, this is a sewer level. And we need to treat it like one. Not in here. Oh, there's life. Let's take it for safety. Don't need that machine gun. Not where we are going. I have to be careful to avoid using the close range melee attacks. EDs in particular is not entirely useful compared to the others. These hover tanks will be quite the menace later on, but manageable here. I can grenade off this ball because it's cool. And lament that you missed yet another cycle. Don't blink. This is the only stage that ends with all enemies exploding when you enter the final door. Not entirely sure why that is. Would have been quite the thing to have that happen more often as a symbol of your victory. Stage 5, clearing it at all is it's a carnival of all manner of complex tech, and I'll explain the best I can as I proceed. First thing I'll do is just fall down one story, because you begin each level with invincibility. Take the L, and run past this wall of hazards with no concern for your own safety. Just take a moment also to just get an opportunity to see it later, but how visually stunning this pixel artwork from the mid-90s is in the arcades, and especially the animation of those men burning to nothing. Now here is a section that I call the 5 elevators, and it is the source of much grief for any kind of 1cc, because you need all 5 of these elevators to behave properly according to your plan, and any enemy that comes out of these doors can override it with no input on your part. But I needed to do all of that so I would not miss this elevator and lose even more time. So just simple back over from this long hallway. I did a melee I didn't need to. Cancel out his shot and get my own in. I missed that cycle, but that's okay. Quite difficult to do in the best of times to optimize this particular part of the stage. The music stops here to... that orange man simply went home, went upstairs, and decided he had enough for the day. For this next part, I will manipulate elevators further. And there are now turrets in the wall that I must negotiate as well. If I can time this correctly. I haven't. I hesitated at that turret, but if I had done this correctly, I would have hit all of these elevators without missing a single beat. We'll leave that man in the restroom to his own devices. And here is one of the more precarious parts of the game. Just a long trek down. So I'm just in time to enter that man's blind spot. Here. Another elevator jam to manipulate cycles. And hopefully doing so will disrupt the scrolling of the screen so that these elevators will stay in their initial positions for longer. Enough time for me to simply jump onto them, and there's the end of the stage, and Red Suit makes another appearance. Take one pot shot at him for a bonus 2,000 points if you want it. And then we take a bath, off to the final mission. We're out of area. May the power be with you. No map of this area, so we simply have to play it by ear. So I have no lives but full health. And this is the stage where I discovered the elevator jamming technique. While you are typically not able to cancel your animation while you're standing on an elevator, you can control it. And then move on to this elevator here. And here's a moment you can read donations. There's nothing much to do here.
You got it. Here is a $25 donation from Domfridge, who said, "At first I thought having a digital GDQ would be odd or missing something. Now I feel like this setting makes everything more intimate and cozy. Thank you for your continued work. Y'all are amazing." Also, Nizumi is trying some speedrun strats on a different topic. $50 here. "Hi, I'm donating this money trying to underflow my bank account. I'm not sure if I hit the right frame, but fingers crossed."
Now, here comes even more danger. Much higher rate of enemy spawns here. Now that I'm getting even closer to the inner sanctum of Red Suit. These two stories above me are some of the most deceptively difficult parts of the game. In these center doors, enemies will spawn at a very high rate and you have nowhere to hide. So we'll just take it as slowly as we can, put bombs here for safety, take damage if we need to. I did need to take that, I simply missed the red door. And that item box there contained life, so we got some reprieve. For this cycle. Here's the final section of the game. 3 minutes to foil Red Suit's plans once and for all. Jump. Move one story up. When an elevator moves up, we'll make our move. Okay, we take a little bit of damage. Now while we wait for that to come up, let's just take another shot. We'll wait another cycle for the elevator on the top right to move up again. Cautious now. Mostly I'm trying to conserve what few rockets I have left, but as I am one step away from death's door, I need to consider what time I have left. And here is the final confrontation of the game. There is Red Suit himself, and if I aim these bombs correctly, I can move the elevator while I do my bomb throw animation, and it will simply land at his feet with no intervention from me. The world is saved. Now, when the screen flashes white, that will be time. Wait, where's my rendezvous? I need to get out of here. And that's elevator action returns. What became of our heroine? Well, Taito had a habit in the 80s and 90s of having endings end on a rather contemplative note, and this is no exception. And we can see the credits here of the arcade and Saturn port staff. This is an excellent game I decided to run after seeing it at MagFest. There's a yearly gaming event held in Maryland, USA. They had a cabinet there, and though I've known of this game since I discovered it on Taito Legends 2 for the PlayStation 2, I never got 1cc on it. So I decided when I got home I would finally learn it, and decided why not learn to speedrun it at the same time. I had to use the Sega Saturn version because unfortunately Taito Legends 2 runs this game slower than the arcade hardware, but this one runs it correctly. And as soon as these credits end, that'll be it for me. Thank you everyone and all of for your support of GDQ and their beneficiaries. Thank you for having me. And as soon as I enter my initials, that'll be enough of me.
While we
Play Taito games. They're very good. Another bonus with this version, you can play the original elevator action, the only port available for it in 1997. check out this background. It's a very nice pixel art, 1995. Thank you all again. Enjoy the rest of your Friday, everyone.
And thank you, too, to the opponent there for that wonderful run. Elevator action returns. Loving that, as are some of our viewers here. Arathom donating $25, saying, was not expecting elevator action to be a nice, comfy run of a game with excellent sprite work, but here we are. Yes, you never know what you're going to get. I have, let's see, I need to move on in the marathon soon, but I have a mission here I must accomplish first. I have some donations sitting around, I believe from before the KOTOR run began, referring to a donation train, $5 here from Ketsa. I've heard rumors of a $5 donation train. Can I get a confirmation? $5 from Leviathan. I will contribute to this train. Let's get this bread. Yeah, I, as a host, am not precisely always sure of when the trains are leaving the station, because honestly, chat, it is up to you. Any time can be donation train time if you'd like. But speaking of trains, speaking of elevators, get ready for it, chat. Here's a donation from Frice, $25. Did someone say train? Also, don't forget about your Prime Gaming free subs, chat. Did you know they go to charity? Thank you, Frice. Let me see. Let me check my notes here. Yes, did you know if you have Amazon Prime, you also have Prime Gaming, aka the former Twitch Prime? And with your Twitch Prime benefits, you have a free subscription to any channel on Twitch that you want once a month, perhaps the very channel you're watching right now. Okay, yes, elevator away. Take me up, chat. All right, and also, you know, if you subscribe to Games Done Quick here on Twitch, you will not see Twitch commercials like the one that we're about to play for you right now. Tuned here at SGDQ 2020 Online. I'm your host, Prolix. Continuing with this block of games, we've got some DOS action coming up with Terminator Skynet, an any percent run by TBCR. Minor interruption in the DOS games with Hello Neighbor any percent, but then right back to that disk operating system action, Quest for Glory 1, So You Want to Be a Hero by David TKI coming up just a little bit later here in the marathon. All right, so what do you think? PC DOS or MS DOS? What's best here? No, we're a little late to that party. It's pretty much DOS box all the time now, isn't it? Let me see here. Let's get to some of your donation comments. Of course, one of my jobs here to read those out for you. When you click on the donate button below the stream, or go to gamesdonequick.com/donate, you can choose to leave a comment with the donation there. And remember, all of your donations are going directly to Doctors Without Borders. A $250 donation here. Wow, awesome. From Gold Scales. No comment with that. And then $25 here from Scaly Star. Their comment says, been watching GDQ since my then boyfriend, now husband, introduced me to it back in 2013. Fell in love with the events, and now I look forward to both GDQs every year. Even though it's not being held in person this year, the event is still amazing, and thank you to all the runners, staff, donors, sponsors, and anyone else that's been involved in this virtual event, less than 3. Ghost Boy SA donated $10 saying, excited to see the online SGDQ and some of the non-US based runners that are able to attend this way. Yeah, I agree with you on that one. Of course, we tend to, just due to the number of runs we can fit in an entire week, have some international runners at the events, but it is certainly more convenient for them without the travel to what's usually a US-based in-person event. $50 here from Jack's Gulch, donating for Prolix's voiced My Ears Are Happy. Oh, thank you very much. I will try to talk my best just for you. Let's see, $100 from Vacuum, talking about, all right, this was a couple runs ago, but for $100, wanted to acknowledge your donation. Vacuum said, had to drag myself out of bed early for KOTOR, a game I put tons of hours into myself. Great run by Chaos Drifter. Have to agree with you there. It was a fantastic run, and I hope now that you're up and awake, you stick with us for more of this wonderful marathon. $25 from Nick. This goes to the Kingdom Hearts boss run and KOTOR crazy. Thanks, Nick. Also have a $25 donation here from Gresman63. No comment with that one, but thank you very much for the donation. And that's it. That's all we need. I hear it is